Probably should have waited. Hi everyone, it's Kylie and Claw back with our final episode of Culture Shock. We're going to be sharing some closing thoughts and conclusions. But of course, if you have any feedback, any questions, anything you'd like to hear us talk about more, we're definitely open to that. Let us know. Our social medias are freely available, just kind of all over the place. They're pretty easy to find. So, Claw, would you like to kick it off?
Yeah, so I think the one thing that I really realized about being part of this chair is that you really do have to be organized and you really have to learn how to plan because I think it is really hard for us to sit here as culture chairs and say, oh, you don't have to plan, like you can just finesse something out of the way. We wanted to let you guys know that we take this position really seriously, and even with the virtual aspect of it, we could have just slacked around. We've just been like, oh, like screw it, we won't do any shows, and we won't do anything. But we decided to really set up as much as we could in the circumstances and the restrictions that we had, obviously due to the pandemic, of how we run things. For example, that show. Let's just say we've had a lot of who are hesitant, people who think that the show might not work out, things like part of the show might not work out. And we've taken the critique, we've taken the feedback, we've taken the maybe pushback on some of these things, such as like the podcast, the fashion show, the dance, and stuff like that. And we use it as a way to fuel our fire because we feel like we have a responsibility as culture chairs to really show you guys what we are handling in the pandemic. And even if we weren't in the pandemic, we would still do unique things such as the podcast, which we fought really hard for to have because without conversations like these, people will continue to stay ignorant, people will continue to stay racist, and there will not be solutions to problems. So therefore, again, we would hope that this podcast will reach some audience out there in terms of talking about the Vietnamese and Asian American community. So that's what my thoughts are in terms of being a culture chair. It's been great, and I think it is time to retire because I have other classes and I have other things that I have to deal with. But I do love the seat as much as I'm in it for it now. And we would hope to see you guys come back and support our future culture chairs, even our previous ones who have done events before. And to wrap up my conclusion about that show as a whole, we are coming out with that show hopefully by the week of March the 20th. Our dances, our skit, everything will come out. The podcast, as the time that you guys will watch this, will be around mid-March. Even though this is our final episode, we are hoping that if you guys have feedback, questions, comments, concerns, please let us know either on the VSA at UVA YouTube, VSA at UVA Instagram, or our own Instagram or whatever. Like we'll plug her in there too. But yeah. No, just kidding. Nobody's gonna be plugging in there because there's too much editing for this time. Just notice that it's almost 11 o'clock and we are very tired. We also have classes the next day, but we are still wanting to do this for you guys. And, we hope that we have more Q&As afterwards, and maybe we'll expand on the podcast with our, next culture chairs. And we just hope that you guys appreciate the podcast and continue to support VSA and UVA. So thank you.
Yeah. For me, I sort of agree with the decision that very, very much the last minute. I'm talking like 11:53 the night it was due to run for culture. Because I was originally gonna run for PR, but we have an amazing PR team. So good thing I didn't do that. But culture is really, or at least should be the heart of any cultural organization. That seems obvious, but I think it's very easy for these organizations to become very superficial. It's very easy to just party and drink and do whatever and just not engage with these topics that affect all of us that are really important, and that we have an amazing space as college students to discuss and to do something about. And it's just easy. It's so much easier not to do those things.
Yeah.
So we really want we really want the discourse. Like,
Yeah, we just want our not only our culture team, me and Kylie, as well as VSA as a whole, to really have content, like to really have valuable content out there that will support not only the culture but the community as a whole, the Viet community, the Asian American community, the people of color community, as just one voice out there. And so we want to provide that one voice so that other communities will hopefully also contribute their one voice, and together we can have multiple voices and have representation where we want it to be, like in the government, in our student bodies, in our exec and board members, and in our cultural orgs and stuff like that. And one plug I wanted to do is to shout out the Asian Student Union, or ASU, here at UVA. They do a really good job in terms of advocating for Asian and Asian American rights. So besides our org, there's also multiple other cultural orgs that we can list, like CSA, which is the Chinese Student Association, and OIFA, the Filipino Association, and then you have TSA, which is the Taiwanese Student Association, and KSA, the Korean Student Association. I'm trying to cover as many people as I can, and most importantly, the ASU, which is the Asian Student Union. They also have great advocacy chairs that really promote Asian American awareness and stuff like that. And hopefully in the future, we'll be able to collaborate and really show you guys, what more we have in terms of, our time here as culture chairs at VSA. But this is our final episode, so we will be signing off. So thank you for supporting and watching our podcast, Kulture Shock. And you know what? We'll see you sometime. Thank you so much.
bye.